Square? I'm gonna make my birthday cake? Yeah? So right now I am getting everything ready. I measured everything out so that I could just like put stuff together while I do this. So right now I am putting the pan together for the cake to go in before I put it in the oven. Ooh, which reminds me, I should turn this on. There we go, 350. So hi, it's my birthday and I'm making my birthday cake. That's what's happening right now. I actually got to go live. It worked out this time. Yay! Feel free to chat. I don't know. I should figure out how this whole thing works. I don't even know. So as per usual, I wanted to do way more than physically possible today. So I wanted to do a glitter tattoo for my birthday. Didn't quite get around to that. I wanted to wake up earlier than I did, but I was tired, so I slept. I am making my cake, but later than I anticipated. But I wanted to go live. That was the thing. I kept thinking about making the video. That was my intention, just like the bouquet I put together yesterday. I was gonna go live like that, or not live like that, but I was gonna make a video like that. But I really wanted to do the cake live, so I ended up delaying it enough to where I could. But now, that is gonna make it so that I'm gonna be a little bit later to the mixer, the art mixer that's happening tonight that I'm going to. So, you know, domino effect, but whatever. Rolling with it. Practicing compassion for myself and forgiveness on my birthday for not being perfect. Alright, so these are, I did butter and flour, and now they are ready for me to put the cake in it. And got 2 of those. I want to get new pans. That's on my list of little things to get and replace here at the new apartment, new cake pans. But we're working with the square ones today. And I'm gonna rinse this out. It felt appropriate to use my red mixing bowl for the cake since it's my red velvet cake. Again, we're gonna have to maybe talk about this whole situation because I grew up calling it a red velvet cake. But if any of you who know about red velvet cake follow along with me right now, you will see how it isn't unlike every other red velvet cake recipe that I've ever read in existence. And I've Googled the ingredients for it, and not another cake comes up. Some things that are close to it come up. It's like it's a mix between 2 cakes that somebody put together at some point and put red food coloring in it and then called it red velvet. I don't know. Tell me if you know any of the mysteries. There's a lot that goes into this cake for me, which is why I wanted to do this live. I probably take this cake too seriously, but it's my birthday cake. It's my favorite. It's my favorite, so I take it seriously, which is why I make it, because I take it seriously. But it is from scratch. There's not a box for it. It's ingredients, and a recipe is good when it's like taped together and got stains on it and stuff like that. Those are the good recipes. Tried and true. So 25. Okay. So this cake has dry ingredients and liquid ingredients, and I like to put all the liquid ingredients together because I feel like it makes them like mix together more. The recipe calls for something kind of different. It groups them in different ways than I end up grouping them. After making this cake, I mean, probably 50 times or more in my life, easily. yeah, easily 50 times or more in my life. I've kind of deviated with it and played with it a little bit. So, let's see. All right, I've got my, I'm going to make sure I can see this, because I always still double check myself. So, yeah. The eggs, the food coloring, those are 2 that I want to put together, and the buttermilk, I want to put those together. Trying to make sure that I don't multitask between this live video and making this cake so much that I end up messing this cake up, because I've done that before. I've learned that lesson the hard way before, and I don't want to do that. So yeah, so I'm going to put together the Crisco and the sugar. So, Crisco. This is one of the only things that I use Crisco for in my whole entire year of cooking. But because of this cake, I have Crisco in my fridge all the time. And I've got sugar. We're doing sugars. And I'm gonna mix those together a little bit. Smoosh, smoosh. Make kind of a dough. So I've had a fun morning talking with a whole bunch of different people over messages and Instagram and Facebook and things like that. It's nice to hear from everybody on my birthday. That's fun. And I'm looking forward to this event tonight. I'm curious to see like how many people show up and what kind of board games people have out. It's a networking event for artists that I'm working towards going to this evening. But the venue that they are having it at is having a board game night that is like coinciding with the networking event, which is pretty fun. So I'm gonna go to that. I like board games. I like artsy people, and I'm working towards building my community and my network. So it's all the things, and it keeps me from being home by myself on my birthday, which is also nice. I just wish I could turn down the heat outside for the drive, because it's, you know, it's gonna be like the hottest part of the day driving over there. But luckily, it's to drive over there to an air-conditioned area where I can cool off and hang out, and then the drive home. I'll have to say, as much as I hate the heat during the day of the summer nights are the warmth. It's so cozy. It's like a jacuzzi that doesn't make you, not a jacuzzi, like a sauna, steam room, hot room. A dry sauna? Dry sauna, I think that's what I'm looking for. A dry sauna without it being like so hot that you're just like drenched in sweat. Just kind of cozy like that, like your muscles kind of relax and just cozy. And summer nights have a lot of positive memories, as opposed to summer days that are full of triggering flashbacks. Hate them. Okay, so we've got the Crisco and the sugar well creamed together. Crispy. It's like crumbly, kind of dough-like. That's good. All right, now I'm gonna get my cream container here. So I've got eggs to break. There it is. And these are duck eggs from the farmer's market. So they are not like the normal eggs I've learned. Like you have to use a knife to crack them. They're not like the quick crack on the side of the bowl and it breaks and goes right in. No, that's not the way these go. You gotta mean some business, especially if you don't want to get all kinds of like little egg crumbs. At least that's been my experience. I'm sure somebody's got a better way to do it, but that's what I know how to do right now. Oh, that sound means the oven is at the correct temperature. Alright, so I'm gonna whisk these up a little bit. Mix it all together. Okay, so one of the other reasons that I like to mix all the liquid ingredients together is because this is obnoxious. How much red goes into this. I'm sure it's not healthy, but it's the only, it's my cake, so whatever. But there are 2 different reds that I've got, so I decided that instead of just doing like 2 of these or 2 of these, because I do have a collection, I buy them when they're on sale because I know I'm going to need them, or if they're at the 99 only, then I get them. So I have a little backstock of red food coloring, but I thought I'd show you that some of them have, this is McCormick. Have a love-hate relationship with McCormick, we'll get into that later. But they have a little seal on theirs, and the Bakersfield opened these bad boys up, and they do not have a little thing. So I'm feeling a little bit more safe and secure with the McCormick, but not too concerned, clearly. Okay, so here's my story on McCormick. I love McCormick. It's a traditional place. You know, they've got good products. My beef with them is that when I was growing up, they had imitation cherry imitation cherry flavor that they sold that we use religiously with this cake. And then somewhere, probably 20 years ago now, 15 at least, they discontinued it. And I didn't know that until I couldn't find it anywhere, and I started doing research, like, what the heck? Because I had no expectation that they'd discontinue the best flavor ever, but they did. I tried getting a hold of the company, because I'm like that, to ask them if there was, like, going to be any seasonal kinds of releases, if they had any backstock, if they had any suggestions of where I might be able to find it. Like, I went in. And they didn't have anything for me. They just didn't have anything for me. And so now occasionally when I see their posts on Facebook, they talk about how much, you know, they are behind and love the fact that they have a part in so many traditions with families and their meals and their recipes and things like that. And I comment, yeah, but what about the Imitation Cherry? Can you please bring it back? And it's still a no. Oh, I remain faithful, but it's an important little segue to bring up now, because that is why there are, I don't know if you can see all these little things back here, but coming up with a replacement for that has been a 15+ year mission. This is buttermilk, by the way. Oh, that's pretty. Hold on. Photo up. Coming up with a replacement for the Imitation Cherry has been a mission. I've tried a wide variety of things, some of which I may remember to tell you about today, some of which I may not. So pretty good. The contrast between the white buttermilk and the red food coloring is, I don't know, it always makes these really just interesting patterns, and it's easy to get hypnotized by the way they swirl together. Ooh, I should show you. All right, I'll try. Try not to spill red everywhere. That has also happened. I'm gonna put that down. It's very precarious. I'm gonna give up on that mission. But yeah, splashing red has caused many moments of cleaning. These countertops are black, so it will be a little bit harder to notice. I have a tabletop, I'll show you guys on another video, that I made over several years with different friends. There's a whole other story that goes into that one too. But nevertheless, it's got a resin coat on the top of the tile. And I was making the cake, because it was my kitchen table for a while. So I was making the cake on the kitchen table, and some of the red color splashed out, and 12 years later, still on there. It's kind of ridiculous. That was also the year that I tried the Imitation Cherry that they sell in the stores now, but don't do that. Don't do that. It tastes like mess and it's real bad. But look at that red. Can you see? Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. It's like the color of the dahlias I was showing you yesterday in the bouquet. It's my color, you see? Okay. So now all the red is mixed up in the buttermilk and the eggs. So I'm gonna go back and add the cocoa. See, this is one of the things also that drives me crazy. This is not a chocolate cake with red food coloring. If you think that red velvet is a chocolate cake with red food coloring, I hate to break it to you, but no, it's more than that. Even in a recipe that does say red velvet cake, but this recipe is especially more than that. But this is 2 tablespoons of cocoa, so it is a decent amount of cocoa. Put that in there. And it's important to remember that baking is a science. You don't want to listen to the ancestors too much on the baking. Flavoring, yes. Baking, no. Go away. So, plants come with little tiny bugs. Annoying. So that's one of the other little side missions I am on. Just keeping my plants alive without having infestations of little plant bugs. Anybody else fighting that battle? Oh, the plant battle. Sometimes the cocoa likes to just sit on top of this liquid mixture instead of absorbing into it. It takes a little encouraging, a little coaxing. Scraping it all off the sides, make sure it gets all mixed in there. I want all the flavors to come together well. Which brings us to the magical ingredient. Buttermilk. So, the funny story about the buttermilk that I feel is important to mention also. Very often they only are sold in containers this large, and I do not need this much buttermilk for this recipe. I need like that much. So, you know, it's just gotta make another one, usually, before the buttermilk goes bad. It's a really easy argument to make with myself. I win every time. Okay, so the red is mixed. We've got the sugar and the Crisco waiting for us. Here's a little tip. Okay, this is the most important part. This is the cherry almond essential portion of the flavor of this cake that I love, which is again why it's so heartbreaking that McCormick went ahead and discontinued it, or part of it. There we go. I found these cute little purple bowls. They're like an ombre color of purples. It's super fun. Okay, so want to overdo it. Okay, so the goal here is four teaspoons of liquid flavor. I don't want to make too much of the liquid trying to make a strong flavor because again, baking science, it's going to mess up the ratio. So I've got to shoot for the 4 teaspoons of flavor mixed between cherry and almond. These two come together. It's heavy on the cherry, light on the almond, but to my taste, because I have to like go back into my childhood memories and try and remember how this cake tastes. So this year, new to the mix of things to try is snow cone syrup. I've tried many things. I have not tried this, but this seems Actually, that's pretty fucking close. This might be a winter chicken dinner. It smells really, really, really close to what we've got going on. Okay, I'm enjoying that. But in the past, what I've done is I have taken maraschino cherry and a little bit of vanilla and some vodka and left it in the fridge for and let it ferment for the year. So I made this last year so that I could use it this year. So we've got the dark cherry, which I've tried the fancy cherries. What are these? Sorry if that's backwards. The original Luxarado maraschino cherries, fancy. And then Trader Joe's had these, and let me tell you, they were decadent. I saved the juice. I ate all the cherries because they were decadent. And then I have just regular maraschino cherry juice, just in case, because they're good, but also to help balance out, if it gets too strong, which so far I haven't found to be possible. I really like the strong to kick in. So this is just maraschino cherries with vodka, not the dark. All right, so I'm gonna do the smell test and see where we're at. No, it's not strong enough. Definitely not as much close to things as the snow cone syrup. This is just decadent, and I think I could drink it, but it feels like it might be better in a cherry pie. This might be just amazing in a cherry pie. It has more of it's less bright and cheerful cherry versus it's more of a base vanilla, hearty, decadent, and this is just a regular maraschino cherries. Yeah, no, that's still just lame. Alright, let me see. This one's pretty good, but it's still not as strong as I would want it to be. This cherry snow cone syrup, I think, is going to be the winner this year. Alright, let's try it. I haven't done it before, but this is going to be the year. We're going to see if this bad boy can be the replacement, because it's pretty thick and it's got a pretty good strong cherry flavor to it. I like it because it tastes good. It's like the good cherry. It's not the medicine cherry. Like I said before, the other cherries that I've tried, the imitation cherries in the grocery store, I honestly don't even know why they sell them. They're horrendous. I don't know who's like, this cherry's good. I guarantee, well, guarantee is a strong word, but it's bad. And I would imagine that most people had a similar experience to mine about feeling like it ruined their cake or ruined their cookies or ruined whatever it was, because that cherry is. And if that's what you think cherry's supposed to taste like, and oh, I feel bad for you just a little bit. It's not. This seems like it's gonna be yummy. Okay, so I gotta get the 3 teaspoons of this and a teaspoon of the almond. That was the one I left. The unifying ingredient that brings it all together is the salt. Okay. Yep. I've learned to double check myself because sometimes my dyslexia gets the best of me between teaspoon and tablespoon. And you forget which one's the little T and which one's the big T. good. I'm gonna add a little bit more almond. I like it. Alright. It's in there. Lids on. Alright, and this is usually where it's a good like smell test to try and see how the flavors are coming together. Okay, I like it, but I'm gonna add a little bit more. I want it to be stronger. This is where I start going. This is where I start listening to the ancestors. The yummy, huh? We'll see. Oh. Oh. I think I like it. Oh. You guys, every year I'm hopeful, and every year it's close. Ever since they discontinued that flavor, it has not been quite right. Close, but not quite right. This might, I don't want to get too carried away, but this might be the winner. That would be exciting. Very, very exciting. Sorry for the noise. Okay. So now my liquids are mixed together, and the Crisco and the eggs had time to kind of join each other more. The Crisco's a little bit softer, which is going to make it even easier to mix together with this. And I'm going to mix all this together so that I can get it ready for the flour. And then we're going to be in the home stretch. Oh, it's so pretty. Future YouTube Sarah will have one of those cameras that like goes over the top so people can see that angle better. But I'm working with what I got right now. Awesome. So that's what mixed together. One of the other reasons that I like to do it like this is because it helps to minimize the lumps that end up having to be mixed out towards the end, because you may have noticed I don't have a mixer, and I'm okay with that. I don't want anyone to interpret that as she needs a mixer. Where would I put it? It's okay. I don't need a mixer. I've got 2 arms, and as long as I'm an able-bodied human who has 2 arms who can mix these things, I'm gonna use my muscles. I'm gonna use them. I'll get the mixer later when the muscles don't work so well and I don't have any young people around to help me. But for right now, I'm gonna use my muscles. But I also want to work smarter and not harder. So minimizing the lumps later is nice, especially because the flour is still to come, which is now. So now I don't dump all of the flour in right away. I do this in stages. So see, that was part of it, and then I'm gonna mix that in. One of the reasons that I do this is because it helps avoid the flour poofing out everywhere and getting flour dust all over the kitchen. That's another fun mess to clean up. I'm just kidding. It's not fun at all. That's why I add it in stages. So here's more. So yeah, so I'm gonna just continue going back and forth. When I was young, we used to do it different. We used to go back and forth between the buttermilk and the flour, and the buttermilk and the flour, and the buttermilk and the flour. And then I got older and I was like, I don't have time for all that. We're gonna just do it like this. So I get all the liquid together and then just mix, sprinkle, mix and sprinkle, mix and sprinkle until the flour's gone. knowing the whole time that I'm like working towards a consistency that I'm very familiar with after all these years. And sometimes I adjust the flour a little bit. Like, it's really mostly about getting it to the right consistency at this point. And if it's still a little bit too runny, then I can add a little bit more flour. And adding it in stages like this makes it so that if it doesn't need this much flour, then I don't have too much flour in there. Although if that ever happens, I just add more flavor. Can't lie, I have definitely added extra flour just so that I could add more flavor sometimes. Those were the years where like I wasn't quite sure about it being right and was hoping that just going heavy on it would help make it stronger. But it doesn't. That smell test really seems to be one of the best indicators that I've come up with for how the overall flavor is going to be by the end. It's pretty close to however it smells when you mix the cocoa and the buttermilk and the cherry almond mixture together. That's going to be how it is. And if you want the flavor to punch more, and then that's the stage that you want to try and do that in. Woo. See what the baking gods just did with that. Yeah. That one year that it smelled like medicine, I was really, really hoping that the baking process was gonna like magically somehow like do something that salvaged the cake. It did not. It was so gross. It was so gross. Again, McCormick, yours was the best. You had the corner on the market. I'm not sure why you took yourself out of the game. It actually really does make me curious though, like, was there an ingredient in there that isn't available anymore? Or did the manufacturer close? Or was it not a good seller? Did people not know how good it was? I don't know. I asked, trust me, I asked for the recipe. I asked for all. I have tried it all at this point. So I'm very hopeful that this cherry snow cone syrup is going to be the winner. That would be awesome. So awesome. Okay. Now I need something a little bit stiffer on these clumps of flour. But I'm going to need this later, so you're not going too far. Ooh, I'm going to get my big fork. I know some people use this fork for salad mixing. I do not. It is excellent. Cake mixing. So one of the other things that I did not realize until after, I don't know, the 20th time that I baked this cake was just how much the rising agent for this cake actually ends up making a difference in the overall flavor at the end. Because like if you tasted it right now, you'd be like, oh, that's good, but I don't know, something's missing if you knew how it was supposed to taste. And that's because the rising agent, which is baking soda and vinegar mixed together, makes a bubble, 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 and you fold that in. Not mix, fold, so that the bubbles like don't get popped and they stay in there. But that, I mean, you wouldn't, I have never been like, I want baking soda and vinegar, that sounds delicious. So it was weird to realize that it actually made this amazing cake amazing in its flavor, not just as a rising agent. So the science lessons that you learn alongside baking. All right. Woo! Ask me to nice. We're gonna have some more. We're gonna have some more. And where's my almond? Some almonds. Tasty. Tasty. the smell that just came up was lovely. Yeah, see, that's how it is. Like, I want when I mix to be hit by the smell of this cake. That's when I feel like it has enough flavor to it. Up until then, it's not enough. Dare I? Oh. Okay, yellow. That was the yummy. Yummy. Scotia more of the flour. Alright. Very exciting. Person who's watching, it's nice to see you. Gonna do the rising agent. So it's 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda and a tablespoon of vinegar. It's getting warmer in here with this oven. This is how you do the volcano. I think that's how a lot of people do it anyway. That's what I've heard. I'm sure there's other ways, but just kind of mix it together. Because the baking soda does way more than the liquid, so if you don't keep stirring it, the baking soda has a tendency to like gather up the bottom and not do its job. So like mix it and then kind of keep encouraging it to mix while you dump it. And now is when you don't mix. So you mix them together, but now that it's in the batter, this is where we fold. So that all those little magical bubbles can stay in there, do their job. Taste test. It's gonna be good. Woo! I'm excited. I'm excited. I did not lick the fork and then put it back in there. It fell onto my finger. Calm down. Calmate. Alright. And this is too good to just disappear, so. Licking the batter off of that in a minute is gonna be my reward. Alright, so now I'm gonna pour it into here. Can you see? See how it's runny but not like liquidy runny? Don't want it liquidy runny. But you don't want it like browny either. I've also learned that with these cake pans, halfway is plenty. More than that, make it crazy dome-like. Alright, so now I'm going to just finish measuring this out, kind of going back and forth, making sure that they're pretty even. I'm going to bake these for 25 minutes and take them out of the oven and let them cool off while I go to the art thing, and come back later and frost it later tonight. But while it's baking, that's when I'm going to make the frosting. So next up is going to be the frosting. I did not do cream cheese. I am going to do buttercream. So I had 4 sticks of butter out on the counter this morning. It did not take them long before they were plenty soft. And I've got the powdered sugar, and I am going to mix those together and make some delicious buttercream frosting that I can use to decorate the cake with later tonight. So that flour and the butter, so first I put the butter down and then I sprinkle the flour on top of it to make that like barrier for the cake. And that helps it so that when the cake is done, it doesn't stick as much to the pan. Back when my mom used to be a baker, like she used to, be a person who baked. She taught me all that kind of stuff. I think that's one of the reasons that I like making this cake. Reminds me of good times with my mom when I was a kid. It's her family recipe. So like my grandmother grew up in the South, which is where I imagine this recipe came into our family. But that's really all that I know about it. And like I said, it's such a different recipe than every other red velvet recipe I have ever come across. So if you guys know of any stories or reasons or like what this cake actually is, if it's not a red velvet cake, because like I looked it up on Google, I don't know. It doesn't say anything. Timer, 20 minutes. Alright, 23 minutes, and I check it for one of my friend's grandmothers. We always just called her grandma. She was just everybody's grandma. But she taught us that when you bake a cake, you know it's done when the cake pulls away from the edges just a little bit from the side. That's your indication that it's ready to test with a toothpick in the middle, but you're probably done. And I don't know, 98% of the time, that's 100% true. The only time it isn't true is usually when I put the cake, when I'm cooking the cake at the wrong temperature. Sometimes that happens. Okay. I'm gonna enjoy that in a little bit. It's so much fun to have an apartment with room enough to cook again. The last apartment I was in was like a little hallway. It was not my favorite. All right, I'm gonna put these in the fridge too so that I can make room for the frosting, which ought to be pretty easy because like I said, that butter is damn near liquefied by now. Which is not what we want, but I'm not gonna be surprised if it's close to that. We'll make it so that it's gonna be easy to mix them. All right. Butter. Had it covered with that. Butter. I probably shouldn't have put as much in there. I got very excited. But powdered sugar goes poof even worse than flour does. Okay, so I'm gonna fold this powdered sugar into the butter so that the entire kitchen is not covered in powdered sugar. So one of the things I'll tell you also I've learned, I didn't remember it in enough time for this cake. Maybe one day I'll get there. But that clarified butter is what helps make buttercream frosting not look yellow when you've mixed it. If you use regular butter, even if it's great organic fancy butter, it still has kind of a yellow hint to it. So apparently, if you want it to look like super bright white like the fancy bakers are able to do, I hear that clarified butter is the trick. So I'm gonna try that one next time. I am in a position to buy clarified butter. Ooh, it's already looking good. Kind of looks like custard right now. I'm gonna go and get the fan and turn it in this direction because the girl's melting. The girl is melting. Back to it. So I have 4 sticks of butter that I put in here. So that is 2 pounds. 2 pounds of butter. So I'm putting in 2 pounds of powdered sugar, which is an entire bag here. That was bound to happen. Oof! I'm so excited. I'm also excited to decorate this cake because I found some fun things to decorate it with over the last few months that made me giggle. I found this candle. My friend's daughter had it for her birthday and my mind was blown. So it's this little thing. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it like opens up. It like spins around and opens up. I'm very excited to try it out. And then I got some all pink starbursts. I thought that could be fun. They're also delicious, so works either way. And then I found these, and they were just too adorable not to try. They're little cupcakes, but I thought that like cupcakes like around the edge of the cake, it sounded adorable in my brain. So we'll see how it works out. So much mixing. I have to focus, otherwise I get too excited and I go too fast. What kind of birthday cake do you guys like to have? What's your jam? Is it chocolate cake? Is it not cake at all? Like, is it like a pie? Like, or whatever? They're all horrible. I don't know. What do you like to do? What's your jam on cakes? The only downside to this cake, and me taking it as seriously as that I do, is that it does require that I make it, which means that like nobody can like pick it up at the store for me or make it. I mean, they could make it. I haven't ever had anybody try to make it. Maybe now that I've found a suitable substitute for the cherry, well, we'll see. This is going to be the test, so we'll see. If I have found a suitable test replacement for the cherry flavor, I will feel more confident encouraging other people to try the recipe. Because I'm pretty sure it's not anything that like I can have like be my recipe. That I also am not a baker. I'm not trying to be a baker. That's not my. I like to bake this cake for myself for my birthday because I like to have this cake for my birthday. But yeah, I'm an artist and a painter, so like I have fun making the cake and decorating the cake, but this is not my thing. I can't obsess over this kind of stuff the way that I can obsess over painting. That's how I knew painting was for me. It's because I never got sick of, still never get sick of thinking about it and how to, like, ideas and paintings that I want to make, and which is a lot of the reason that I'm doing this YouTube channel. Going back to that is there's a lot of paintings in me that I want to make, and if I can't figure out, nope, say that differently. I need to figure out how to have, say that differently again. I figured it out. I just need to make it happen. I need to establish, that's the word, I need to establish alternative forms of revenue that include passive income that come in and help me create financial stability so that I have the time and the space to be able to sit down and actually make these paintings that I've got rolling around in my brain and work on these ideas. So I want to do that. I want to work on those. So this cake is awesome, and I would love for other people to try it. And who knows, maybe if everybody starts making it and it gets really, really popular, I'll be able to actually pick it up in the grocery store one day and I won't have to make it, and that'll be kind of nice. I still gotta come up with a name for it if it's not red velvet. It's still red, and that is half the reason that I love it. It's gorgeous. Like, it not just tastes good, but it's just a sexy cake. It's just good. It's just good in all the ways. I love this cake. When are we gonna get smell-o-vision going? We need to figure out how to. Smells are so amazing for foodstuffs and these kinds of cooking segments. Smell-o-vision. Oh, here we go. Now it's starting to get doughy. Yep. No. Awesome. I'm so excited. Look at that. Oh yeah. Alright. I think just a little bit more. And then we're gonna add the vanilla because that's the other flavor that goes in this. And the cake looks like it has about 12 minutes left to cook, which will give me time to go put on my dress for tonight. It's the dress that I actually wore to my college graduation because it's pretty. And so here's one of the other things that happened. Over the course of the last couple years, I've lost like 50 pounds, but I have not had any kind of money to like buy a new like wardrobe or anything like that. So I've had to like revisit some of my older clothes, and it's been super fun to like, I can wear my college graduation dress Yay! And it's pretty. And so now it's not just like sitting in my closet. It's like something I get to enjoy on multiple levels when I wear it out now. So that's fun. So I'm gonna wear my college graduation dress. I'm gonna go out and hang out with the art people. Maybe play some games. I'm hoping I get to play some dominoes. I haven't been able to play dominoes with anybody in a long time. And trust, I am bringing my own. I got my dominoes ready, and I have my playing cards ready. These are from 1000. Woo! What's up, 1000? These are your cards. I'm gonna take them to game night tonight. I figured a bunch of artists would appreciate those cards. It's an artist that I follow on YouTube who actually inspired a lot of me trying to start my own YouTube channel. He had a Kickstarter. I'll tell you guys about that one later, but he had a Kickstarter that it was about him designing those playing cards, and it all worked out really, really well. And now I have the cards, and I'm going to take them with me tonight and share them with other artists because I thought they would probably appreciate them a lot. Oh, this frosting looks good. I love that. So instead of getting there at 5:30, looks like it's going to be closer to 6:30. But it's a social event, so I'm not. It's like splashing, splash. It's a good thing that it's just me who lives here, because I don't mind. I don't mind making a mess and cleaning it up. Maybe later, or maybe now. And there's nobody here who gets mad at me about it. The cats do encourage me to clean up most of the time though, because I don't want them like getting in the mess. So that's one of the nice things about having the cats, is they encourage me to pick up and keep things clean. But I've noticed that since I've gotten moved into this new apartment, and I finally got everything unpacked and did like the super duper clean on all the floors in the apartment and stuff like that, it's a lot more fun keeping this apartment clean than the last one. Like, I'm enjoying it. It's kind of like when you get the new car, and for the first like 2 months you're just like steady like washing it and waxing it and keeping the windows clean, polishing the headlights and all that junk. Like, we are definitely in that phase of me living in this apartment, but I'm hoping that it's gonna like perpetuate and continue, because having a clean place is nice. I like it, and it's nice to have a room enough to like walk around and enjoy it. And that was the other thing about the other apartment, is it was so tiny that like even when things were clean, it didn't really feel clean because everything was still like everywhere. So it's nice to have room to spread out and stuff. Yeah, you agree too? Okay. So we got the frosting. I'm gonna cover it up and put it in the fridge. We got 8 minutes on this cake, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll go live again. Leave something in the comments if you maybe want me to go live over at the Art Link event when we're playing games. Otherwise, my plan is to go live again when I come back home and put the cake together. And then I've got all these fun art projects. Speaking of 1000, I've got one of his figurines that is in queue to paint up and decorate. I'm pretty excited about that. But there's a lot coming over the next few days. I'm going to be doing this marathon. Now that I've got the option to go live on YouTube, I'm going to keep it going, kind of make up for not being able to get that done yesterday, and keep the marathon going all weekend. It's going to be fun. I'm excited. Keep joining me, okay? Bye! Let's see if I can figure out how to turn this off. I don't even know. Nope, still don't know yet. Oh, do it. There it is, X. Okay,